Friday, the 20th day of September, 2024. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. This is News to 6 a.m. on News Power Digital. The Trinidad and Tobago Police Service is monitoring criminals who may be targeting persons withdrawing large sums of cash to pay property tax before the September 30th deadline. With the deadline looming, Assistant Superintendent of the Southwestern Division, Edmund Cumberbatch, has warned that criminals are now targeting individuals withdrawing large sums of money to pay for their property tax. However, in order to counter this, Cumberbatch said yesterday the police teams have been deployed around financial institutions to monitor those leaving with cash as the September 30th deadline approaches. Speaking at a media conference at the San Fernando Police Headquarters yesterday, Cumberbatch provided details of a recent incident involving a 72-year-old penal pensioner who was robbed of money she planned to use to pay property tax. Cumberbatch said police had received intelligence that criminals were targeting individuals who planned to withdraw their money in the coming days. He added detectives in plain clothing and uniformed officers will be observing individuals loitering or appearing to communicate with accomplices. He noted some of the crimes involved Venezuelan nationals and migrants and urged the public to remain vigilant and cautious. Earlier this week, on Power to Digital, Minister in the Ministry of Finance Brian Manning stated government is exploring additional methods for paying property tax. Also, Minister of Finance Colm Imber said new methods, including online options, are coming. No permission has been granted for vehicles to park inside Nelson Mandela Park. This was the response from Port of Spain Mayor Chinoa Allens yesterday after public outrage over vehicles of several patrons attending the Caribbean Premier League CPL match between Guyana Amazon Warriors and Trinbago Night Riders on Wednesday night were wrecked during the game. There was public outrage after videos were posted to social media showing vehicles being towed from Nelson Mandela Park while the match was in progress at the Queen's Park Oval. However, this only occurred after a group of individuals allegedly broke the lock to the park and began charging drivers a fee to park inside. When police officers from the traffic branch became aware of the unauthorized parking, they ordered the vehicles removed. Chinoa Allen added there was no authorized parking in the park for the event. Proper procedures for parking management were not followed. The police have since warned motorists to comply with traffic laws and to park only in designated areas. They warned failure to do so will result in enforcement actions. The Trinidad and Tobago Met Services is advising citizens to expect scorching temperatures over the next 5 days. TT was placed under a hot spells watch, yellow level, from yesterday until Monday, September 23rd, by the Trinidad and Tobago Meteorological Services. In the statement, the TTMS said, quote, over the next 5 days, there's a high probability, a 75% chance that daily maximum temperatures will reach in excess of 34 degrees Celsius in Trinidad and 33 degrees Celsius or greater in Tobago. For the month of September so far, the daily maximum temperatures recorded at Piaco had neared 35 degrees Celsius on several occasions. The TTMS is also warning that on these hot days combined with tropical moisture and light winds are ingredients for the development of showers and thunderstorms, mainly during the afternoon. It warned persons to be vigilant, stay in ventilated areas, and hydrate themselves. The National Lotteries Control Board NLCB Director Michael Jorge has been suspended indefinitely following allegations of misconduct against him brought by the Statutory Authority Service Commission Department, SASCD. The Express newspaper obtained a copy of the letter dated September 9th, addressed to Jorge from the SASCD, headed allegations of misconduct and suspension from duty. There were 5 allegations when listed against the NLCB director. The letter stated and ended, in accordance with Regulation 88 of the Statutory Authority Service Commission's regulations, you are directed to cease to report for duty until further notice and cease to perform your functions of your office. Jorge was contacted for comment and confirmed receipt of the letter of his suspension from the NLCB, but declined further comment, saying the matter is being handled by his attorneys. In news of the region, St. Kitts and Nevis Prime Minister Terence True says forensic auditors have uncovered what he says was massive corruption in the development bank. He says the financial institution has a debt of more than $330 million, most of which was borrowed from Social Security. Dr. True, who is the country's finance minister, says legal action will be taken because the audit found millions of dollars were allegedly found in bags. He said the government has since put the money back into the bank. In Jamaica, opposition People's National Party is calling for Prime Minister Andrew Holness to step down immediately following publication of the Integrity Commission's report on its investigation into the income and assets declared submitted by Holness for 2019 to 2022. The Integrity Commission's Director Corruption Prosecutions, Kenisha Prince Kamika, has ruled out criminal charges against the Prime Minister for allegedly making false income declarations. And finally, an mpox outbreak in Africa is still not under control. The Africa Centers for Disease Control and Prevention warned on Thursday, adding cases were still increasing in several countries on the continent. The World Health Organization declared the recent outbreak of the disease a public health emergency of international concern, with the new variants being identified. Countries in the continent are struggling to respond to another major outbreak coming on the heels of the COVID-19 pandemic that exposed weak healthcare systems, which were unprepared to deal with major public health crises. And that is news to 6 a.m. right here on News Power Digital. We'll have major news coming your way at 7 a.m. Good morning.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
Morning, neighbors. Good Friday morning to you, wherever you are. Thank you so much for joining us on the Power Breakfast Show. It is Friday. Yay. Hey. You like that, eh? Friday. Hey. Yep, the 20th day of September. It's World Cleanup Day as well. So, good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Of course, on the show this morning, we just hear from Dr. Paul Richards. We'll hear from Wendell, Stephen. We got Richard, Ragoobarsingh. We got Shane and Ruben in the mix. Of course, my name is Steve Khan. All right. 27 degrees at Piarco, 26 at Crown Point in Tobago. I don't have a weather for you. The Met Services app is just not opening. But good morning to you. Good morning to you, Paul.
Good morning, Steve, and good morning, Wendell.
Morning, gentlemen.
Morning, Wendell.
Morning.
Who won the game last night?
And the TKR lost. Antigua Barbuda Falcons beat us for the second time in this competition. They seem to have they bowled and fielded very well yesterday. So congratulations to the Antigua Barbuda.
Yeah, I didn't find TKR played well at all.
No. I don't want to say that we didn't play well, but I thought Antigua played very well.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, they certainly did.
Yeah.
So good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us, folks. We'll wait for Richard Ragoobarsingh to come in, but let's see who sent us hellos on this Friday morning. We love a Friday. Wendy and James, God Celia, Slick Money Grip, DJ Slick Money Grip. We had a funeral for Gary yesterday. DJ Ray out in Delaware, Anthony Tinto in Ontario, Canada, Wayne Bennett in Covington, Georgia, Oliver Man Warren, boy Bedisi down in Davie, can do with some breakfast, boy. Maria Celia, Nikisha Pierre, out in Brazil Village, Carol Guevara, Joycelyn Dialsing, Trini in Boston, hey, long time Trini, Gloria Gray, Kieran Yipnow, good morning to you. It's been a while. David Wares, and of course, the lovely Mrs. Wares. Michael Robinson in Yokohama, Japan. Good morning to you as well. Got some on WhatsApp, I believe. Vincent in Birmingham, UK. GNC Auto Security. We got Captain Ron locked on from, he's home in Orlando. Anthony from Toronto. Morning, Anthony. You have a great name there. That's my middle name. Val, David Nelson, Sankofa. Good morning to you guys. Thank you so much for hitting us up. We love it. We love it when you do that. All right? Yeah.
I must say, traffic-wise, you got some from Couva to Sugargonas and congestion from Charlieville and going to Trin City into Port of Spain.
Happy birthday greetings to former what was she? Head of the Tobago Council for the PNM, Tracy Davidson Celestin. And of course, today is also the president of the Senate's birthday, Nigel De Freitas. Happy birthday, Nigel. And everyone else celebrating birthdays over the next few days. Have an absolutely fantastic day.
Yeah, today is my attorney's birthday, Shobna Prasad, well, one of them. Yeah. Happy birthday, Shob. Have a great day.
Let me see.
And she will indeed, I'm sure. Val says she's celebrating her birthday on Sunday. All right, Val, what time we have to come across for the party? What time? Just let us know what time we come across for cake and ice cream.
Was it also Deborah Graves? It's today also Deborah Graves' birthday, I think so. Deborah, message me and let me know if it's today's your birthday. I think it is today. Libra season soon come.
Yeah.
You know, I met of course, Brian Lara at the Oval on Wednesday.
I saw that.
I purchased his book, and of course, he would have signed it for me. And it's so funny, somebody comments to my video and of course to my posting, because I mean, I know Brian Lara, we played cricket together way back in the day. I didn't even know how much Brian he was interested in football until his father, because his father had and you know it, and I want people to listen this morning sometimes about the parents. You see, sometimes following your parents' dreams and parents who pushing you in a certain direction because of what they see and what they know. Sometimes you need to do it, you know, because Brian Lara started off playing football. And I mean, he said that in his book, you know. He was really good at football because he was playing with York and Latapi at the time as childhood friends and so on. But his father insisted that he play cricket. So much so that when Brian Lara passed common entrance, well, he might have, I think he was also common entrance. No, he might have switched to SCA at the time. He passed for San Juan Secondary School, and he actually started to attend the school, and then his father, you know, sought out Fatima College, because at the time the father used to associate with Joey Carew and all those old-time cricketers and so on. And that's how he ended up at Fatima College. He said he didn't want to go, you know, because he had preferred the co-ed school, you know. But his father insisted, and he ended up at Fatima College and ended up where he is today because of his father and, of course, his siblings and so on supporting him, because I think he came from a family of 11, where he was the boy amongst all the girls down here. You understand? And it was his eldest sister, Agnes, who was the one who pushed him and supported him, you know, carried him to join Harvard Cricket Club. But that's where he started. And then he ended up at Queen's Park because of his association with the Carews and so on, and through Fatima College, you know. But that's where he started off, you know. It's a very interesting story, you know, of him growing up in Cantaro Village and so on in Santa Cruz, you know. It's a good book so far. I've gotten quite a bit. I've read quite a bit, you know. So the next book I have to get, of course, is Patrick Manning's book. I want to get that book and read that book.
And the book from Lennox Toussey, Behind the Bridge.
Oh, Lennox has a book too?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll get that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Morning, Karen Yip now. What is he saying?
Morning, Pablo. I find it quiet there, boy.
Oh, Wendell was talking, and I'm not a cricket person.
Was there any pulling last night? Did anybody get wrecked last evening?
I don't know.
I actually saw a wrecker working and wrecking a car. But that car was badly parked. It was parked directly opposite the Oval. There.
Yeah, when the badly parked here.
In front of a driveway. So, you know. I didn't see any parking in Mandela Park though. I thought I thought they had made arrangements. I was told that they had made arrangements for paid parking there, but apparently they didn't follow through on that plan.
Well, the mayor has responded,
I tried
Yeah.
calling him so many times.
saying that there was no authorized parking and there's some miscreants who broke the lock and started taking money from people
Yeah.
to park, and that's all well and good. But what systems did they put in place for parking, knowing that a big match was coming to Port of Spain and the Oval as
And
the
that's
corporation? You understand?
Yeah.
And that's
It's
it. What
one
did they
thing
put in place?
you have the power, yes, to say no parking at Mandela Park. I have no problem with that. But so what is your consideration for patrons of the match? Or don't
Yeah.
you think you have any responsibility where that is concerned? To make
Well,
it an
I'll tell you-
enjoyable experience as the corporation for the city, the capital.
I'll tell you what happened in the past. I know that there was always a communication coming from the Queen's Park Oval. You understand? Or in the case of Mayor Murchison Brown, who was the last mayor who really used that park as a car park, paid car park during international games. Because these are international games, eh? You understand? And you should put something in place. When Louis Leasing took over, he banned the use of Mandela Park on the whole. You understand? It restarted again under Mayor Timke. And then it was always like...
And that's not the issue, you know, and because there has been intermittent authorization to use the park from time to time, people are unaware of when it's unauthorized.
Exactly.
So you put out a statement from, because you know you live in here, you must know a big match coming. You
The
must
mayor
know
lives
Mandela
right
Park
next
is
to
going to be-
Mandela Park, you know.
It's going to be a default for some people in their minds. So you put out a release from Louis saying, listen, people, I know the match is coming, but there's no authorized parking in Mandela Park. If you park there, you're going to be wrecked.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
You have all you need to do that.
Yes.
And then hopefully you provide alternative parking arrangements. Say where it can be parked safely.
Yeah.
That's what a proactive mayor does.
Yeah. I don't argue with that at all. And I'll tell you something further, because I spoke to a senior police officer yesterday at the city, and I said, you all dropped the ball. I mean, even if you're telling me that touts broke the lock and opened
Beauty
the
culture
barrier.
is saying it's training lawlessness. How am I to know if a gate is open and somebody seems legitimate that's inviting cars in and taking money, that they did that earlier on? How am I to know that?
Yeah, I
And
told
as the corporation, you know there's an issue. Ask a police officer or two to stand outside the door.
and that's exactly what I told the superintendent. I say you all dropped the ball because you all should have had a presence there. You understand? You all should have had patrols.
And Karen is right. You trying to tell me the police, well, if the corporation said no on unauthorized parking, police should have known that. And I'm sure it had enough police around the Oval to stop that.
Yep.
So come on, you wait for the crap to happen, then you really?
And then my opinion is that you wreck cars that are impeding some sort of traffic issue. Okay, so you wreck cars that are parked on pavement.
We said so yesterday. Anybody who park too close to the corner, park in front of the hydrants, parking in front of the driveways, wreck them. No problem with that.
Yeah. And bring out the traffic wardens.
They should have just.
We really need to be having a discussion about this when we are accustomed to having cricket in the Oval.
Yeah, they should have just
really
their losses and let the people drive out of Mandela Park.
It's just high-handed, you know, unthinking, uncaring, seeming, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, let them deal with that.
Wrecking is a hustle.
It is.
It's a hustle. And that's exactly because to have 5 wreckers in place yesterday to deal with that situation, not yesterday, day before.
You could have put out a release saying there are restricted parking areas in X, Y, and Z. Please be advised accordingly. The authorized parking areas are 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
But you know what I have a problem with these two trucks?
You're right, Wendell, is a hustle. So let them fall into the trap and then make money off of them.
Yep.
These two trucks that are taking your car are heavily tinted.
Yeah, you don't get to see who in there.
You don't know who is inside. But your car is going with them. How am I to know you're legit?
Well,
They're not licensed tow truck. They say, well, tow truck TT 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 took my car.
You know how this conversation sounding? Like the conversations I
let
would
me
have
move
had
on.
sitting in that council.
Let me move
Because
on. Right?
all of
Let's
that
move
we
on,
used to
please.
raise,
Can we move on?
We used to raise all that, and the vans, the trucks that were unidentifiable because there was no marking on it, so you
That's
don't
what I'm
know which is the
saying.
company that wrecking you. All of that we raised, to no avail. We back to square one.
The population has also said it, but you know what? The hell with them. The hell with them. We take in your car. You don't know. You don't need to see who's inside. So backward. Pisses me off.
Can we move on?
Yeah, I guess so.
TNT is going to be has been put by the Met Office under yellow alert for hot spells, so you all be careful going out there. In the next couple of days, it's going to be very, very hot until Monday.
It's going to be scorching.
I saw that.
All right, so please.
When I see yellow level, I think in rain, but I realized after it was a hot spell. It
was a hot spell. Yesterday
yes,
was
so
hot. Today it's going to be hot.
Particularly with elderly people who may not have air conditioned units, checking on them to make sure they're okay.
Yeah, and make sure your pets have enough water if they're outside. Don't leave them in the sun.
Take care of yourself walking. Make sure you have your bottled water that you can hydrate yourself. And those of you who are taking with large sums of cash to go to pay your property tax,
yeah, boy.
Be careful. There's a new scheme in town from bandits, including some Venezuelan nationals, according to police. They're targeting some people coming from banks. The police have said they put plainclothes officers and uniformed officers at financial institutions to make sure that people are safer. Congratulations. That's good thinking and proactive.
I remember I told you all how I went to pay my property tax, right? And when I got there, I found out there was no links machine. So I had to walk down the Tunapuna, the Eastern Main Road to Tunapuna, in a bank that I've never been to because I don't use ATMs, right? If it's not just a drop an envelope in that I'm depositing. And I was a nervous wreck going in that bank to withdraw that money that day. In the middle of the day, in Tunapuna. Busy. You know that part of Tunapuna, always busy, right? I was a nervous wreck because first beginning in the ATM I have no privacy. None, because in the bank itself. So is everybody lining up behind one another? And it's four outlets, of course.
To me, given the length of time it took to get property tax back in the book and the controversy surrounding it, there was clearly no throughput thinking on this.
Yeah.
Because there's a Ministry of Finance championing it from their perspective, an Attorney General bringing the law, debate in Parliament, pass, and you have a Minister of Local Government who is the line minister for the regional corporations, where the money is being accepted, not so?
Yeah.
So to have all this drama after, given the fact that you know how many people are supposed to have paid this property tax, or you didn't think through this thing clearly at all.
Well,
and to come from after and tell us about, it's complicated to put it in line and the banks and all. Really? You all didn't think that there may have been a rush and a compliance to come from behind to do all of this?
They clearly didn't.
And had to put people to do lunchtime, because you don't want to close lunchtime. But you all don't live in Trinidad and Tobago. He's just the brightest people in the country, and you all know that, right?
Yeah.
Supposedly.
Yeah.
But as Richard always says, it's never like, let's walk through this from a citizen's perspective to see what a citizen has to go through so we could make it more efficient and more easy or easier. You understand? It's okay, we put it in place, how you going to do it? However happen. There's no, okay, it's starting on Monday. Let's put some officers to make sure and see the challenges to respond quickly to their challenges. Because they have to pay it anyway, let them pay it. Or we hang it swing.
Yeah.
And there are elderly citizens who may need help, you understand? And may not be able to line up because of their physical condition and stuff like that. No, you don't think all them doing. Figure it out. I'm so cranky this morning.
I don't know. You seem a bit cranky this morning.
And I went and walked earlier, you know, I shouldn't be cranky.
I could hazard a guess, but I won't.
No, you're not right at all.
Okay.
You're not right.
Even cranky about that, you know.
Yeah, boy.
No, I'm not cranky about that at all. I'm good.
Oh gosh.
So, good morning,
I should be
NLCB.
cranky this morning, but see what.
Good morning, NLCB. Good morning, NLCB. Are you still back now?
Have a bacchanal.
With
Yeah,
NLCB? I have been in NLCB boot for the last 2 nights. What back on NLCB out?
An NLCB director is on suspension. And I'm paraphrasing here because no lawyer's involved, right? He's on suspension. Where's the damn story?
But I didn't hear that. What were you telling me, boy?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where did the story disappear? It was in the Express. Express,
It was in yesterday's Express.
where you're trending, real moving this morning. Anyway, let me paraphrase. I'm paraphrasing here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's under suspension for alleged misconduct. For among some things, allegedly backdating authorization for World of Reggae Concert to run a competition. You know, in some instances, if radio stations running a competition, you have to get NLCB approval,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Okay, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, for allegedly having a discussion with TTT, who is the carrier of the Playway and Lotto,
Mm-hmm.
to change that
Right.
without the board being aware of those conversations. I'm paraphrasing here again. There are 5 things. Tell me, wow, you get on bad.
But not even in today's Guardian. I have the
No,
Guardian.
it was in the Express.
In yesterday's Express.
Oh, you just know. See, I edit it. Anyway,
I need me a little shoo.
his name is Michael Jogi, Joge.
Jogi, sorry, yes.
Jogi.
Oh, I know Mr. Jogi.
And the
Yeah, I do
allegations
too.
of misconduct brought against him by the Statutory Authority Service Commission Department, SASCD. It's your Express story. The Express obtained a copy of the suspension letter dated September 9th. Allegation titled Allegations of Misconduct and Suspension from Duty. And 5 allegations were listed.
But he's been there quite a while, you know.
Yeah.
Okay. But I need me a little shoo about that.
Yeah. There had been some imbroglio some weeks ago because of a situation where on TTT, apparently the numbers were shown in error before.
I remember that.
Leading to some issues. And one of the allegations against Mr. Jogi is
Jogi.
doing stuff that put the credibility of NLCB and the games at risk. Allegedly doing that, you know, by some things that happened at with the draw TTT and also having discussions about, I don't know that they actually did it, changing the time, because you know when you're changing time for Playway and Lotto is mayhem in this country.
Yeah, especially for the people who believe in a certain zombie to get the thing right. You understand?
So apparently those at one point it may have been, or there were discussions about changing the time, but the time may have been changed without authorization from, I guess, the relevant authorities or something like that.
Okay. Well, that is news to me. I didn't see that story. I didn't hear that story.
Right. Somebody sent it to me. I'm gonna read them now so I can be accurate, so that we had to jump out with lawyers. Stories by Mark Besant.
Oh.
Behave yourself. One, that these are the allegations. Michael Jogi, National Director, National Lotteries Control Board, in the course of your duties, backdated and approved an application concerning World of Reggae Concert for May 22nd, 2024 to 17th May 2024 to cover dates when the contest was already being promoted by the applicant. But the implication there is that didn't get the approval before, and somebody backdate the allegations that they backdate. You understand?
Yeah.
Backdating is always going to be a problem.
Always.
2, in the course of your duties, fail to report to the board of NLCB that you had ongoing discussions with TTT Limited during the period March 24 to June 24 about possible disruption of the televised NLCB broadcast of its games, namely the draws NLCB Playway Pick 2, Pick 4 lottery games on TTT for a 2-week period between July 26, 24 to 11th August 24. So you can't even have discussions without the board knowing, right? 3, in the course of your duties, falsely denied to the board that you granted approval for the change in broadcasting arrangements with TTT Limited. But you don't want to change them times. Barring the Prime Minister on his legs in a press conference.
No, don't mess with that, bro. Don't mess with that.
Or a religious holiday. You understand? 4, approve the change of the mode of broadcasting of the live draw of the games on the 13th of June 24, which is the one we would have heard about Wendell, without consulting the board, without giving any apparent thought being given to the implications or impact of the foregoing on the revenue integrity of the games and possible reputational risk of NLCB. I think that may have surrounded, because there was a big brouhaha about some ball fall down before the thing, and it was the same ball that thrown back and on like that. 5, recklessly and without lawful basis issued an email dated September 5th, 24, addressed to subordinate staff as well as parties external to the organization, alleging that it appeared that public funds were being spent and expenses incurred by the chairman and the board without the knowledge of the director in LCB, and the situation reeked of alleged corruption. So
that's a whistleblower thing happening.
I think resumes need to be dusted.
Yeah.
Pending the outcome of the investigation.
Yeah.
So
as I said, he's been there for quite a while.
The Express called him for comment. He acknowledged receipt of the letter from the board, from the statutory agency, and also said that he had no further comment. The matter is in the hands of his attorneys.
Yeah.
I mean, I spoke to him a few times because, I mean, the Pet Butler is a lotto booth, which, by the way, for over 2 years, I'm waiting for my digital jackpot sign and asking every week for it. I don't know what is the problem. You really want to say, Steve, juxtapose against what I just read.
Yeah, I'm not too sure I want to go down.
You really wanted to say that?
I'm not too sure I want to go
down. You really wanted to say that?
Well,
you really wanted to say that. Right?
That goes
you
to
really
IGT.
wanted to say the Pet Butter has a lot of good, so I spoke to him a few times.
No. I know him long time.
Okay.
I know him long.
You really wanted to juxtapose those two things together?
Sorry?
Next thing you know, they come and raid all that dog food.
Open the phone line, please.
And bird seed and thing. They come and drag all that dog food and bird seed.
The statement of Steve Khan is not necessarily the view of the station or management of radio.
Gentlemen, it's not that. He doesn't control that.
What were you talking about?
I have never spoken to him regarding that.
I never said you spoke to him regarding that.
Let me finish my sentence and then he can chat.
Is you juxtaposing?
I have complained IGT, which is, in charge of the booths and so on. Where's my digital sign? We get in. 2 years now. Anyway, but I know Michael a long time.
I am Steve Khan, and not necessarily the views of the station.
I know him a long time.
No, I know Mr. Jogi too, but
I know him long time.
That song and whistleblower-ish there.
Somebody had a right.
Well,
good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. I want to ask Wendell a question here. Good morning to Wendell.
Good morning.
And this question here is to Wendell because I listened yesterday and today. You said that when the mayor was here, Mr. Leasing, he would have put a ban on the authorization of the use of Mandela Park and maybe other facilities. In council, if the mayor is going in that direction, can a vote not be taken to use in terms of changing his decision?
Yes.
Right? So why a vote was not taken?
Well, I didn't, to be honest, I wasn't part of that council, but but I knew about it because it was public knowledge. It was in the newspapers that a ban was placed on all parking and so on because the then mayor had thought that the ground should strictly be for the sportsmen and sportswomen. No problem with that.
He alone should not be making that decision.
But he may have
If
gotten the approval of the council that back then too. You know, it was a mixed council. For the
well,
first,
that is left to be that is left to be seen. That I really regarding this NLTV issue. You all remember we had a crisis manager who was working for $30,000 at this agency.
Have a good day, sir.
Yes, I just want to
have a wonderful day. Enjoy your weekend. Good morning, Ragoobarsingh.
Yes,
Next
call,
Next call, Steve. Next call.
Morning, Richard.
Morning, guys. Morning,
Morning, Richard.
Glad you could join us. Good morning.
Good morning, Steve.
Morning.
Good morning to Dr. Paul.
Are you trying to put me in trouble? Not me, no? Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Wendell and Richard. Good morning,
Ms. Davide.
Morning.
You know, I know just yesterday, I got a little drizzle in the rain the day before when it had a lot of flood all into the pond and so on. I just got a little drizzle going to my car. And yesterday, I just got a serious set of feeling cold kind of way. You know, this morning I feel so stuffy and nauseous. So this, like I get the cold real bad one time. I didn't even take any medication. So I said, just a little drizzle, you know, and that's it for me. Yeah. So, you know, listening to this morning when Dr. Paul was talking about what the mayor sent out concerning the wrecking, I think that was it sounded so deliberate to me that they knew that people would have parked there because that's the first place people go and park. You say you had a gate lock and it was broken too. So how come under normal circumstances when officers or their security people are there, they'll say, ma'am, don't park there, go so, don't park there, you cannot park there. How come nobody said anything to any one of those drivers that they cannot park there and the gate was open? So you want to tell me he didn't know that gate open and people parking there from since early?
No, you can't say that. You can't say that. We have no evidence to support the minister knew that the gate was open. You cannot say that. You cannot say that. You cannot say you're sure of that because we cannot allow that. But we have no evidence to support that.
I'm sure. But you know,
no, I'm glad you're sure. You could be sure on your phone, but you'll be sure on the airwaves here.
All right, okay. But you know, if that gate was open during the evening and people were parking there, no police officer came across and said to remove your car from there. Nobody. So the money already. I'm just saying again, something about that money part of the record was in the making. Of course, they have so many records now that they don't count that money. So I'm sorry for all these people who called Northwest, you know, to be honest. I'm really sorry for them. But I mean, it's a sporting event and we don't even have facilities to accommodate so many thousands of people in any one place to park. Sometimes things could be overlooked, not bad parking, you know, that not so bad parking, but a hydrant and all kind of stupidness. But you know, in certain circumstances, facilitate things like that because where would you park again if you don't park there? Where those thousands of cars are fit anyway in Port of Spain? It's so sad, you know, and you got to fork out $500 after you done pay so much money to go to Yoga and enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
So
thank you, Mr. Abedi.
You said park at the Queen's Park, Savannah. Police will be guarding your cars.
Yeah.
Police will direct you.
Bring all the traffic wardens.
All this stuff, Emancipation Village and stuff, and some other stuff, they were allowing parking in Savannah, and you could just walk across that street in front by St. Clair. They're not so from the Savannah. That's not a long walk.
Yeah. No,
good morning.
QRC also use their compound as a car park, paid car park.
Good morning.
Events at the Oval too.
Good morning to all in the studio.
Hey, Carol.
Morning.
Some people feel the minister, a PS, a mayor knows everything that is going on in his ministry, office, what. Most of the time, they are the last to know. I think the people who were wrecked, I think they should be refunded their money because the person who was collecting that money did that illegally. And I mean, a lot of people come to a function or go somewhere and sometimes there's no parking. And I go to shows already and you're seeing young fellas and they're pointing in a direction to a car park. And I will say, no, I'm not going in there. I could take my chances on the road. So whoever collected, I think I hear people saying it's $40 they pay or something, and then come out now and car gone, and then you have to go and pay a $500. So you pay $540 to go cricket? Nah, I find that is very unfair.
I would have cost win.
What you saying?
I would have cost win.
Oh, with a what?
I would have cost win.
Oh gosh, no, but Paul, that is real sad. But my husband will say, when you come and you see a car, sometimes you're just glad as the record take it and not safety fit. So I am saying that they should refund those people their money. I find that was real terrible.
Right.
And I want to say to Wendell, you said that Christmas lists increase the ratings on the program. Well, if so...
Hold on. I didn't say that.
You didn't say that, you know.
Bring Christmas list as a co-host and let him carry up the ratings, because I find that's so ridiculous. Christmas list
We did not say that.
I did not say that.
You didn't say that?
No,
I did not.
Oh, God.
I said the program with Chris Hughes the day gathered more views on YouTube than we have had on any other program. That's what I said.
Well, I mean, but as Mighty Duke say, it's the same thing.
No.
It's the same thing.
No. It's not the same thing.
Okay. Anyway, but I can't see he raising no thing. And I want to say...
You know, as I was explaining to Zena, we had an interview with Christmas List. It's on YouTube and it's Facebook.
Okay.
The population went to view it. We didn't tell them to go and do it.
No.
The population went and watched the interview.
Oh, okay. Wendell, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
That's quite all right.
Oh.
A lot of people have accused me of saying and doing things that I have not done.
Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
I personally believe the left hand doesn't know what the right hand doing in that situation. The corporation didn't think that they would have had to put police in Mandela Park because they knew the park was locked. So they didn't think that they had to put police there. Somebody did an illegal act and break the lock and thing. A police now passing would have seen people parking and try to figure, well, the corporation let people park in the park, right? So nobody dropped the ball. Everybody just
Lincoln, they dropped the ball because I've been in that council for years, and I'm telling you, that's not the first time an incident like that happened. They dropped the ball.
Well, if that is a pattern, then they should have taken
it. It is a pattern.
I didn't know that was a pattern.
It has happened before.
Breaking the lock and doing it. Well, if it has happened before, then they dropped the ball. I don't know that.
It happened, and I remember it happened at a time too with a carnival event. And the mayor, then Mayor Martinez, had instructed them to go and wreck. And I suppose the people don't park. They park properly, yes. That
is where they dropped the ball too, because you must have understood that somebody did something illegal, but the people that actually parked were victims.
Exactly.
So
find the people. Find the people
again
who did the illegal act. That is who you need to find.
So what if that has happened already? Then where they drop the ball to is that somebody did that already. Where we need to put things in place to catch you doing it. Any surveillance cameras are put in the park, right? No, but they can't identify a soul because there are no cameras in the park. Aside from that, park should have cameras in it. Now we having a set of murders in parks, savannas. Or how much people get killed in around the savannah in Port of Spain. We should start to look at putting surveillance cameras in these places so to detect anything that happened in it. So maybe there's a direction we need to learn from this experience, what they call it a learning curve, and we need to probably put some cameras in parks.
What is learning curve? I don't understand. What is learning curve? If you have city councils or borough councils or regional corporations you know a major event is happening in your area, there are certain preparations that you must go through to make sure that the city is not affected adversely by whatever is taking place, or that you accommodate it in a way that makes your city look good. It's an international event.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
To me, it's part of your responsibility in managing some of the affairs of the city. It is an international match.
You're absolutely right. But they probably should have used that opportunity to make some cash for the corporation and not have John Joe Blow do it.
But that's what was done in the past, Lincoln. I can tell you that.
But which is a no-brainer in a sense.
Yeah. Thanks, Lincoln.
Yes. Okay, have a good day, gentlemen.
All the best to you. Hold on, I selected a call already. It says one call. We go to newspapers. Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Morning.
That, according to the word Richard used this morning in Broglio with that car park issue, I don't understand. Sometimes people just do things and they just get the people who break the law. The people who break the law and cause this whole drama. It had no emphasis on that.
That's the point I just made to that
what to be done, but the people who break the law and charging people, that is the issue. And nobody seems to be dealing on what should have been done by the mayor and what should not have been done. I think that they shouldn't have put things in place and whatnot, but the people who do that is the issue.
All right.
No, I wanna say something with this a statement Mr. West made with the police that it is alarming the amount of police shootings. I'm not sure what Mr. West mean by that, because it tends to throw an aura over the situation that these police shootings, something is wrong with that. I don't understand how Mr. West could say it. I don't know if it's that he mean, but when he say it is alarming, isn't it alarming how much these people killing little children, little old people?
I think you're taking.
I don't understand the conflation of the two series at all.
I think you're taking Mr. West out of context. He referred to the body cam footage that it is alarming that absolutely no footage has been proffered with those shootings. I think that's what the party are missing out.
Well, according to what I heard this morning on the news, Mr. West indicated it was alarming the amount of police shootings. Okay. I don't know. Right. I don't know if I probably am misunderstood or what, but I think things like that is what gives moral support to these fellas when they hear these kind of things. If I'm mistaken,
yeah. Well, all right, caller. Thank you.
No, Mr. West has to be. Mr. West is speaking in his capacity as head of the police complaints authority.
Of course I do.
Could you share them with us, please?
All right, so I'll start
Richard. Yeah? Just a warning. He's a little antsy. I don't know if you're gonna tell that from this.
I couldn't tell. He seemed in his usual mood. So the Daily Express.
Different today.
Daily Express this morning. Of course, today is Friday, September 20th, just in case you didn't know. And the Daily Express, the front page, the property tax bandits. That's the headline that the Daily Express went with this morning. Police warn citizens withdrawing cash being targeted. Property tax bandits. That's the headline. PM to be grilled by opposition today. And the main picture is that of a book vending machine. Standard 5 student Ricardo Ronaldo Roach proudly displays his book after using the first book vending machine following the handing over ceremony at the Samoa Government Primary School yesterday. So that's the main picture. So there's a book vending machine. Back page, snails, locusts stressing farmers, invasive pests destroying crops amid costly cleanup. TKR fans join in the fun. That's one of the pictures. And the main sports story, Bravo's night, TKR salute their champion, and TTFA begins search for Eve's replacement, and Soca Warriors return to Dwight York Stadium. Latipi focusing on golf, but willing to help the football. All of that is in the sports in the Daily Express. News there for the day, front page, children's safety at risk. St. Dominic pupils forced to share washrooms with strangers. That's the main headline on the front page of the Newsday. TT on 5-day heat wave yellow alert. And cheers for Aaron students. Cheer the performance by soca artist Aaron Duncan at non-governmental organization N22's concert celebrate young pianists and nation building at the paddock in Queen's Park, Savannah on Thursday. And on the back page of the Newsday, Falcons stump TKR at home. Antigua Barbuda grab controversial 6-wicket win. And TKR Oval say thank you to DJ Bravo. Moving on to The Guardian, the final of the 3 dailies this morning. Front page of The Guardian. Cops in banks. TTPS responds to complaints of criminals scoping out clients. Cricket fans fall prey to wrecking at Queen's Park Oval. And the main picture is that of Brian Lara, former West Indies captain. Brian Lara autographed a copy of his new book for Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley. That's the front page picture on the TNT Guardian this morning. And on the back page, Russell sparks TKR to victory. And that's it for our 3 dailies this morning.
I wonder what
Thank you, Rich. Let's get the results of our morning poll from yesterday, where we asked you, would you support a law holding parents responsible for their minor children being outside from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m.? The results are in. 90%, 90, said they would support a law holding parents responsible. Right.
Energy Chamber CEO Dr. Thackeray Driver, or Dr. Dax Driver, has said that he would like to see, or the chamber would like to see, the electricity subsidy removed in the upcoming budget. So our question this morning is, do you agree with the chamber's the energy chamber's view that the electricity subsidy be removed?
Well, look back on earlier.
Yes or no?
If we read the whole article.
So do you agree with energy chambers that electricity subsidy should be removed in the upcoming budget? That's our poll this morning. Do you agree with energy chambers that the electricity subsidy should be removed in the upcoming budget? That's our poll. 222-TALK, 222-8255. North Americans, 866-525-1099. People on the streaming platform, send your votes via the messaging portal there. If you're watching us on M&E TV and listening to us on smart devices, you can WhatsApp us at 868-318-1021. Do you agree with the energy chamber that electricity subsidy should be removed in the upcoming budget?
Richard is actually saying the word "the," but it's not there.
Yeah. Do you agree with the energy chamber that the electricity subsidy should be removed in the
we have an next to put in.
I don't want the poll too long.
Why?
Why do like long pole?
Because you antsy, we can't get a long pole this weekend. Why behave yourself? Eh?
Do you agree with the energy chamber that the electricity subsidy should be removed
In
the
the
upcoming budget?
Oh God.
in the upcoming budget.
Are there votes streaming in yet, Paul? I mean, sorry. Steve? Oh gosh. Oh,
I know
What the
people
hell,
they come to
Paul?
expect long pole
I
from
think
me.
people get the gist.
Somebody says, Paul, log out and log back in.
I don't know what's going on.
Oh boy. All right. I get into votes here, so let's see. Good morning to you, Dan Raj.
Not everybody can handle long pole here.
Let's see.
We
All right, here we go. Jaron Joseph says no. Val says no. Bobby says no.
I'm not gonna talk all you want, you know.
David Nelson says no. Cascade St. Anne says yes. Kenwin says no. Let's see what's online here. Whoa, where we going? All right. Mo Gaines. Hanif Daniel says no. Mo Gaines says no. Alan Reese says no. John Cato says no. Beauty Culture says hell no. Roger T says no to the long pole. Josie Richardson, no. Carol Guevara, no. Karen Yiptown, no. Beauty Culture, Paul, go back and get up on the right side of the bed.
Beauty Culture, you assuming it was a bed he sleep on?
Yeah, you're assuming. Maybe it wasn't even his bed. Richard P. Knights, no. Anthony Tinto in Canada, no. Lester Craigwell, no. Julia Espetiste, no. Wayne Joseph in Ontario, Canada, no. Okay, Michael Robinson in Yokohama, Japan, no. Chris J, hell no. Alistair Hart, no to the poll. Somebody else says, Vincent in UK said, no. Miss Sampson says no. Again, do you agree with the energy chamber that the electricity subsidy should be removed in the upcoming budget, which will be held September 30th?
You know, when people
It's
say
after 1 o'clock, I would assume.
You know what I would like them to do? Present what the now and the then if it happens. You know, show people what they pay now. If the subsidy is removed, what they will pay then. That's the information that people need to hear, you know. You understand? Nobody provides that, you know.
Well, I think the fundamental issue, Wendell, is that it would go up.
It will go up.
And that's the objection people would have.
Right. So tell us what it is now and what it will go up.
All right, let's grab some calls. Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. Sandy Grandy, no.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Well, I was on the line waiting.
Yeah, good. Go ahead, Zina. Yes or no?
To read. I find the last caller right about the parking. They have a right.
All right, Zina, we're dealing with the poll this morning. Do you agree with the energy chamber that the electricity subsidy should be removed in the upcoming budget?
No.
Thank you.
And now see why Paul answer.
All right. Yeah, now see too. Toad Luke says no. What's that? Rena Budu Jennings says no.
Expats could talk all they want.
John says no.
Boy.
All right. Let's get into our 7 o'clock major news. AV is in.
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
The TTPS is monitoring criminals who may be targeting persons withdrawing cash to pay property tax. The Port of Spain mayor says no permission has been granted for vehicles to park inside Nelson Mandela Park. National Lotteries Control Board Director Michael Jogi suspended indefinitely following allegations of misconduct, and a hot spell watch yellow level is in effect for the next 5 days for TNT. Details in a moment. This is News 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. I'm Avril Sentil-Bab. Good morning. The TTPS is monitoring criminals who may be targeting persons withdrawing cash to pay property tax. The deadline for property tax payments is fast approaching. An assistant superintendent of the Southwestern Division, Edmund Cumberbatch, has warned that criminals are now targeting individuals withdrawing large sums of money from banks to pay the tax. Cumberbatch has revealed, however, that the TTPS has put things in place to ensure the safety of customers. During a media conference at the San Fernando Police Headquarters yesterday, he said that police teams have been deployed around financial institutions to monitor those leaving with cash as the September 30th property tax deadline looms. Cumberbatch said the police have received intelligence that criminals are targeting individuals who plan to withdraw money in the coming days to meet the deadline. He added that detectives in plain clothes and uniformed officers will be observing individuals loitering or appearing to communicate with accomplices. He noted that some of these crimes involve Venezuelan migrants and urged the public to remain cautious. No permission has been granted for vehicles to park inside Nelson Mandela Park. That was the response from Port of Spain Mayor Chinua Allen yesterday, following public outrage after vehicles of several patrons attending the Caribbean Premier League match between the Guyana Amazon Warriors and Tobago Knight Riders on Wednesday night were wrecked during the game. Videos were posted to social media showing vehicles being towed from Nelson Mandela Park while the match was in progress at the nearby Queen's Park Oval. However, this only occurred after a group of individuals allegedly broke the locks of the park and began charging drivers a fee to park inside. When police officers from the traffic branch became aware of the unauthorized parking, they ordered the vehicles removed. One officer stated that there was no authorized parking at the park for the event. He added that proper procedures for parking management were not followed. The police have since warned motorists to comply with traffic laws and to park only in designated areas. They warned that failure to do so would result in enforcement actions. National Lotteries Control Board Director Michael Jogi has been suspended indefinitely following allegations of misconduct against him brought by the Statutory Authorities Service Commission Department, the SASCD. The Express obtained a copy of the letter dated September 9th addressed to Jogi from the SASCD headed Allegations of Misconduct and Suspension from Duty. 5 allegations were listed against the NLCB director. The SASCD letter further stated the Statutory Authority Service Commission at its meeting of September 6, 2024, decided to appoint Dexter Jagannath, Deputy Permanent Secretary from the Ministry of Finance, as the officer to investigate the allegations made against Jogi in accordance with Regulation 87A1 of the Statutory Authority Service Commission regulations. The letter ended, quote, that in accordance with Regulation 88 of the Statutory Authority Service Commission regulations, you are directed to cease to report for duty until further notice from Commission and cease to perform the functions of your office with effect from the date of receipt of this letter, end quote. Jogi was contacted for comment, however, declined. A prisoner who's currently serving a sentence for murder is due to appear in court today after he was charged with making a video recording inside the prison walls without the written authority of the Commission of Prisons. Dwayne Romani was charged on September 18, 2024, in accordance with the Prisons Act, Chapter 1301 of the Miscellaneous Provisions Law Enforcement Act 25 of 2019, as a result of an ongoing multi-agency collaboration initiative between the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service and the Trinidad and Tobago Prison Service. Deputy Commissioner of Police, Intelligence and Investigation, Suzette Martin, spearheaded the investigation, which involved a joint exercise conducted by Special Investigations Unit investigators and officers from the prison service. Investigations revealed that sometime between August 25th and September 10th, 2024, an inmate of the Port of Spain prison allegedly recorded a video in which he threatened the lives of prison officers and their families. In the video, he also demanded that the Commission of Prisons make changes within the prison or there would be war. You are listening to news on Power 102 Digital 7 o'clock. The Trinidad and Tobago Meteorological Service is advising citizens to expect scorching temperatures for the next 5 days. Trinidad and Tobago was placed under a hot spell watch yellow level from yesterday until Monday, September 23rd by the TNT Met Service. In a statement, the TTMS said over the next 5 days, there is a high probability that daily maximum temperatures will reach or exceed 34 degrees Celsius in Trinidad and 33 degrees Celsius or greater in Tobago. For the month of September so far, the daily maximum temperature recorded at Piarco has neared 35 degrees Celsius on several occasions. The TTMS explained that for a hot spell advisory to be issued, there must be 5 consecutive hot days, which they define as maximum temperatures of 34 degrees Celsius or greater in Trinidad and 33 degrees Celsius or greater in Tobago. Maximum temperatures are likely to be higher in urban areas such as Port and Spain and San Fernando, with a heat index or feel-like temperature ranging between 34 degrees Celsius and 44 degrees Celsius. The heat index is a measure of the combined effects of relative humidity and air temperature. The TTMS also noted that these hot days, combined with tropical moisture and light winds, are ingredients for the development of showers and thunderstorms, mainly during the afternoon. However, the forecast calls for just a low chance of afternoon thunderstorms through Sunday. Any showers that may be experienced will only provide short-lived relief, as the TTMS added that warm nights are likely. If venturing outdoors, the TTMS advised citizens to wear appropriate clothing and stay hydrated, especially during the hottest times of the day, which is between 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. It added that if indoors, citizens should open windows, vents, and doors for better ventilation. Well, let's see what's happening with the weather news today for the period today till midnight. Trinidad and Tobago, of course, predominantly hot and sunny conditions are expected. Despite a brief shower at times, there is a low to medium chance of a few afternoon heavy showers or thunderstorms, favoring but not confined to hilly and western areas of Trinidad. Tonight will be fair. Gusty winds and street or flash flooding may occur near heavy showers and thunderstorms. Don't forget your hot spell watch yellow level is in effect. Look out for a maximum temperature of 34 degrees Celsius at Piarco International Airport and 33 degrees Celsius at Crown Point, Tobago. Currently, it is 27 degrees Celsius at both localities. Recapping your headlines at 7 o'clock. The TTPS is monitoring criminals who may be targeting persons withdrawing cash to pay property tax. The Port of Spain mayor says there was no permission granted for vehicles to park inside Mandela Park. National Lotteries Control Board Director Michael Jogi suspended indefinitely following allegations of misconduct, and hot spell watch yellow level is in effect for the next 5 days. I'm Avril Sintil-Bab. That was news 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. Look out for more news coming up at 12 noon and an update at 8 o'clock this morning. For more details, log on to power102fm.com.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
All right. Thank you, Avril, for our major news. You can join her again at 8 o'clock this morning for our news brief, and then alongside Sir Charles for major news at noon. Traffic-wise, yep, you see it, you'll get it. No accidents to tell you about. All right. Regarding our morning poll, let's see if we have any more votes. We do indeed. Slick Money Grip says yes. Cheryl Henry says no. And that's all I have. Yep, that's all I have. All right. Yeah, nothing new. Just those votes, actually.
You see this? Look, let's see that. You see the book? Brian Lara. It says Brian Lara. Sorry, the England Chronicles. Understand they have a Trinidad Chronicles now, Paul? It's all right to come out? Paul, you muted.
I said 7:09. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago and the wider world. Not me at all.
So our poll this morning.
Yeah, Roland says no. That one just snuck in here.
So we had 31 people voting on the poll this morning. And of course, the poll is, do you agree with the Energy Chamber that the electricity subsidy should be removed in the upcoming budget. Of the 31 people that voted, 30 people said no, one solitary person said yes. But the vast majority of people said no way, Jose. And of course, that's the result for this time in the allotted time. Of course, you can continue to vote on this poll throughout the day, through all programming, and we'll give you the final results on Monday morning, because today is Friday and the weekend has begun, people.
Of course, our morning
smile
poll
on
was,
your
do you
face.
agree with the Energy Chamber that the electricity subsidy should be removed in the upcoming budget? On the line, I do have Dr. Driver. Good morning to you, Dr. Driver.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Not too bad, thanks.
All right. So we did a poll this morning regarding the electricity subsidy, and you said that it should be removed.
Yes, you're basing that off this story in the Express newspaper?
Yes.
Yes.
Is that an accurate comment coming from you?
Yeah. We do have
No,
Wendell,
because,
Paul, and Richard with us this morning.
Yeah, it's rather simplifies a complicated issue, and we didn't actually call for the subsidy to be removed from all households. Our position has been very clear from the beginning, and it was in the statement that I made earlier, that we're calling for the subsidy to be kept in place for households in the bottom electricity tiers, and electricity prices to be increased for households in the top tiers. So it's a complicated issue, but the Express likes to try to make out a simple thing to get clicks for people to take part. So your survey as well, the way it's framed doesn't really reflect.
Well, with respect,
which is the Chambers, which is a published position which we've had out there for a year or so since the RIC rate review process.
But you may have complicated it some more, because what do you mean by increasing it or removing the subsidy for the top tier and leaving it for the bottom tier? Where does the top tier start?
The tiers, as they currently are set, are for I think the top tier is it's above about 2,000 megawatts in the cycle. That is a top tier, so it's about 84,000 households in that top tier. That's the tier where we think that the focus should be on removing it for the 84,000 households who use the majority of electricity. The households who are in those bottom tiers, those leaving the subsidy in place does not really have an impact on gas usage. If you remove the subsidy and increase the pricing for the households in the upper tiers, then of electricity usage, tiers of electricity usage, that will mean that there's a big impetus on those households to implement energy efficiency savings and therefore reduce their electricity use. There's been a massive increase in electricity use in the consumer sector over the last decade or so in those households in the top tier of electricity usage.
So good morning, Dr. Jarvis. So you're saying the differentiation should be based on how much monthly electricity a household uses, and those who are using more should pay more or should have the subsidy reduced on their removed on their electricity consumption.
Exactly.
Does that only refer to households, or are we talking commercial and industrial also?
Yeah, well, the rates are also in the RIC review are also put in place to go up in the commercial and in the industrial sector. Electricity use in the industrial sector has been declining quite steadily, as we've seen one, energy efficiency implemented, but also you're seeing, there's been closures of a steel mill, there's been closures of the refinery. So essentially what's been happening is the country has been putting the natural gas, which it sells at a very cheap rate, into not into the things which generate GDP for the country and generate forex, and the natural gas is instead be going into the residential sector. Commercial sector has stayed more or less the same, hasn't grown very much. So then it makes sense to try to reduce the electricity usage in that residential sector. And in the top end of the households in that residential sector, people who are using more electricity, leave people because people need to have electricity available to them. So you leave the subsidy in place for that first tranche of electricity that you get. But then people in those higher tranches of electricity usage, put up the rates for them. Households like myself, we can invest in reducing our electricity consumption. We should put in the feed-in tariff as well, which is really what the big call is for as well. The feed-in tariff, which allows people to put solar on their roofs, etc., to reduce their electricity bill, and put a big focus on reducing the amount of natural gas, which we're now putting into this sector, which does not generate wealth for the country. And we're taking gas, which could be generating wealth, and getting your US dollars. So when you go on holiday, you can get your US dollars. You can pay your kids fees if they're going to university outside the country, or whatever the things are. Medical bills that people are paying outside, which people cannot get the forex for at the moment, because we're wasting natural gas in a residential sector.
Could you give us a sense, Dr. Driver, of how many households overall we're talking about, and what percentage of the households overall would fall into that category of the tier that would have the subsidy removed?
Yeah, it's about 84,000 households in that top category, out of about, I think there's about 300,000 households in the entire people who have electricity bills.
So about just under 1/3 of the households would fall into that category where they would have that subsidy removed.
Well, that category is, it's under a third. It's about, I think it's about 20%.
20%.
But and households in that category use half of the electricity. So you got the households who are using 84,000 homes who are using half of the electricity going in the residential sector.
Have you been able to do the calculation to see how much, what percentage of the natural gas usage that would have an impact on?
Out of the natural gas which goes to the electricity sector,
yes,
about 20% of it goes into 84,000 homes.
So
and
as much as 20% of that gas will be able to be utilized elsewhere.
Yes. Yep.
Dr. Driver, how would you describe
the use of natural gas in the top tiers? The top tier of electricity usage. That is natural gas, which is then available. And to put that into money terms, if it went to just the gas sales, so just what was being sold to from NGC to the petrochemical plants, you're talking about 50 million at least. Depends on the pricing at the time. Could be up to 150 million US or 50 million US. That's the sort of the value of that on the gas sales alone. That's not the multiplier effect, which then if that gas goes into a plant in Point Lisa, it creates in job opportunities and export earnings. So this is what I'm saying. It's a complex issue, which is being very much simplified in how you're framing this about just removing a subsidy.
Dr. Driver,
it's also going to affect, sorry, Wendell. It's also going to affect, of course, commercial users who would be in those tiers. You said industrial usage has gone down.
No, well, if there's people using are in that residential category using electricity for a commercial purpose, that's something which TNTech needs to sort out, because they shouldn't be using. They should be.
I'm trying to ascertain whether you're only talking about residential users, or are you also talking about commercial users in terms of supermarkets, malls, etc.?
Commercial users' rates should. I mean, I think the proposals for a more modest increase there, but yes, those rates also need to go up as well. And I'll just point out that all of the evidence shows that in that commercial sector, the simple energy efficiency programs can reduce people's bills considerably. So if you just introduce simple energy efficiency programs in that commercial sector, you can reduce your actual energy usage declines, so the rate may go up, but your bill will stay the same.
Dr. Driver?
The reality is right now that people waste a lot of electricity. I think we just need to be honest about this. There's a lot of energy which people are wasting in the country. Air conditioning systems very badly installed, so you're seeing and not being well utilized. Lighting systems not well installed. So there's a lot of electricity which is just simply being wasted. What people are not doing is making the connection between wasting that electricity and the impact on the overall state of the economy and on availability of foreign exchange, because the rates are low. So people don't calculate it as this is something which is valuable, which is producing wealth for the country. They just think about it as turning a switch and by magic the lights come on. But there's natural gas which is being used to create that electricity. So it's wasting that resource, which is what creates the wealth for the country.
Yeah. Dr. Driver, describe for us. There's a two-part question. What would you consider a typical household? What do they have in that household of the 84,000 that you are proposing that the subsidy remove? That's one. How would you describe that household? And what are they paying now as compared to if when you remove the subsidy, what it will go to? Give us a couple examples.
Okay, well, the households in the top tier. To be honest, sometimes it's difficult to understand exactly how people are using quite as much electricity as they are using, and some of the at the very top end of those households. But that would be obviously people with centrally air-conditioned households, perhaps running a lot of computers and a lot of tons of devices, probably 2 or 3 fridges, perhaps a pump to keep their swimming pool running. That's the sort of those are the households you're talking about in that top tier. So we're not talking about the average household in the country.
Right. And in terms of how much they pay now, and when the subsidy is removed, how much they'll pay then. Give us a kind of an example without you don't have to be accurate.
Well, I think that what you're looking at is the households who are paying electricity bills currently of sort of over $1,500 in this cycle, and that's probably going to increase. It would increase significantly for households in that sector.
On average, what will it go to if the subsidies removed?
Well, it depends. See, I don't want to give a number because it depends on what you do about your electricity usage. So, I mean, so just as an example, I reduced my electricity bill considerably by investing in solar water heating on my roof. That was investment which paid itself off in about 18 months' time. I worked out the numbers of how much electricity I saved from the old electricity powered water heater, and I installed a solar powered water heater instead, and it reduced my electricity consumption by about a quarter. Now, I had a very inefficient water heater, so if you have a more efficient water heater, it's not going to make such a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the sort of
so one of the things you mentioned earlier on is that
and the point is that better off households usually have the capital available to make those sort of investments. Now, I understand there's a lot of households in the country which do not have the capital available to make those sort of investments. So you leave the subsidy in place for those households because they're not the ones who are the problem. The bottom tier of usage, there's 80,000 households in the bottom tier of electricity usage at the moment. They use about 1% of the natural gas if you convert it to the natural gas. So leave that in place. That's not the problem. It's the households in the upper tiers who are using considerable amounts of electricity, and put the prices up there to encourage them to invest in energy efficiency. Changing out
one of the things you mentioned earlier is that the issue of solar panels. We asked on more than one occasion of the Minister of Public Utilities about making it easier through changing the law, the TNT Act, to deal with the situation with solar panel use on people's houses and also going a bit further than that, the people who generate excess power by the solar panels, feeding it back into the system. But it doesn't seem to be a decision the government is moving in the direction of right now, because the minister said there is no motivation for that based on the price we pay for electricity. What's your response to that?
Well, actually, we are seeing quite a lot of people and businesses putting in or wanting to put in place solar systems at the moment. There's quite a lot of that happening. People would like to do it, but you're right. We do need to change the legislation I think that if you change the legislation, you'd get an automatic bump in sort of pent-up demand, which is there for people to implement solar projects, particularly in the commercial sector. People are wanting to do it not just to reduce the electricity prices, but the electricity costs, but also as a sort of to show that their commitment to a lower carbon future. So you're seeing people wanting to do that. So I think that amending the feed-in tariff, introducing a feed-in tariff by amending the Tea and Tech Act is something which should be done very quickly. The policy has been developed already. That it'd be nice to see that move forward fast. But yes, I mean the minister is correct that that the current pricing, the impetus to do that is is not so great. So that's why we're saying deal with the issue of the pricing for the households who are using more electricity. So keep the cheaper rates in place, the subsidized rates in place. But I mean, actually, how it works is that everybody gets a subsidized rate for the first portion of electricity they're using. The current thing is up to 400 kilowatt hours of electricity, which everybody gets at that cheap rate. And then as you go up the tiers, to the higher rates, above the 2,000 kilowatt hours in the top households, then you increase the rate incrementally. So it's those households who are paying higher for using more. You remove the subsidy from those households.
While we have you on the phone, because budget is coming up on September 30th.
But doesn't that make sort of actually here? I mean, people sort of emotively sort of see the statement as you make it, and they're all going to vote against it because of the way you made the statement. But
we made the statement based on the Express.
Doesn't it seem different?
Well, you are a professional, and there's a technical approach, and then there's a political, emotional approach. So, and very often the two don't meet in the middle. There's a practical approach. What you said makes sense on a practical level, but people don't usually differentiate by tiers. Everybody wants to be treated the same, whether you're using more, using less. What you're saying seems to be more egalitarian in approach. But again, that's for the policy makers to decide upon. In terms of the
the thing, I mean, everybody gets. So if you want to take the egalitarian aspect, if everybody gets that first tranche of electricity at the cheap rate, your choice then as a consumer is if you want to use more than that rate, which everybody is getting, the whole country, every household gets that rate. If you are using a lot more than that, then our argument is that you should pay more for that. And because that is where we have the problem. It's in the households in the upper tiers. Electricity usage in the residential sector has gone up 30% in between 2011 and 2021, which is on the data in the RIC. And that period, industrial electricity usage declined by 20%. So the things which were creating wealth for the country is declining, and the things which are just consuming the resources increasing. That clearly is something which is not sustainable.
The last couple of months ago, the Minister of Finance had to make a statement about a reevaluation of the deficit position of the country based on unrealized energy revenue. How do you think it should be approached this time around, given, last budget cycle, there was suggestion by some that the minister was particularly optimistic about gas and oil prices, which did not materialize, forcing a reconciliation of that later on in the year, moving the budget deficit because of unrealized energy price revenues to about $3.5 billion. What do you think the approach should be this time around? More conservative?
Well, I think that I think the approach needs to be that you base the estimates upon the best data which is available at a point in time. But the reality is that oil and gas prices are going move in an unpredictable manner. Sometimes you overestimate, sometimes you underestimate. So you just have to make the estimates based upon the best available data, which is what the government does. I mean, it has this published data, which from not from the government of Trinidad and Tobago, but from the the international bodies who are tracking, making predictions about oil and gas prices, and you base it off that. But the reality is that we need to have a more diversified economy where we're not just relying upon this one sector to create revenue.
That's a whole different conversation. And what about production levels, which are also impacting our revenue base in the energy sector?
Sure. So I mean that and production levels have declined over the last really since 2010, and there's a lot of things which have to happen to increase production of natural gas. So this, I'm talking about, with the electricity sector, this one issue, which is sort of about 10% of the problem. But there's also, the 90% of it, which is we need to have the investment going in upstream to increase our natural gas production. There are a lot of things happening in that area at the moment, and we do, there are on the horizon, but not here yet in the next 2 years, there are projects which are going to increase our gas production. But it takes time to put those projects in place. So there are major gas production projects which are coming on stream.
Are there any other areas that you think should be focused on in the budget this time around, as you've made a comment now and clarified, thank God, about the issue of the electricity subsidy? Are there other areas that if you could give us 2 other areas that you think should be a points of focus in the budget?
Well, I mean, for us, our focus is always on the energy sector. So we've also, which is not to say there are not other things which are hugely important for the country. It's just that we see our role commenting on things relating directly to the energy sector. So the other things which we have been looking at are around the taxation regime for investments in upstream oil and gas production. There are the Minister of Finance has made some good changes the last couple of years, but there's some additional changes which we're looking to make this year, just to really encourage that investment into gas and oil production, because oil production is something which we actually think there's opportunity to increase that quite quickly. There are some changes to how the Green Fund operates, and we think that there's an opportunity. And this is something which it's the time frame is too short to do it for this budget, but to put in place the things to look at for future budgets, to change how that Green Fund works, to encourage decarbonisation, which are large projects to decarbonise the industrial sector. We think that there's a potential to use the Green Fund as a lever to push that, and then there's the feed-in tariff, which we think that is something which can move very quickly. For the electricity sector, and then we're also looking at some things about just helping this issue about the VAT repayments, some changes that can be made to stop the large refund bill building up again in the future. So those are our main focus of our, not sexy things, but things which we think that the Minister of Finance should be looking at in this budget. That's what our focus.
We shall see. 10 days to go, or 9 days to go. Dr. Driver, thanks for being with us this morning.
Thank you so much for being with us.
So I think I've had
this.
a chance to explain that to people, and I understand people's voting, because nobody wants electricity pricing to go up. So I understand why people calling in are going to say no. But I think we have to look at this at the complexity of the issue, and try to understand what the implications are, and try to find a way to resolve this problem that we have in the country about how much natural gas we're consuming in the electricity sector going into unproductive activities.
Not in this silly season. Not going to happen.
Well, that's okay. But as radio hosts trying to set the national conversation, you have a great role to play there.
But I think we just did. Thanks to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for clarifying.
Okay.
Right.
All the best to you.
Bye.
Good.
Thanks, Dr. Dre.
I think one of the issues is that
Zachary Driver, chairman of the energy.
there are more and more households from 10 years ago, I think he mentioned 2011, that have now used or installed air conditioning units.
Yes.
Normally would not have had air conditioning units before, because the place is so much hotter. That is no longer a luxury. It's just no longer a luxury.
Yeah.
Not only that, people would also invest in more electricity usage as a security measure of their properties being lit up to prevent home invasion. Basic things like that.
Yes.
The things that have become basic now, but that would not have been as profound 10, 15 years ago. And I mean, Doctor, what he says makes sense, but even those in the upper tier usage who seemingly are the people with more money, them is the power players. Them and taking no increase the government, and they have the government's air in some instances more than everybody else. So whether you have the more money or not, you take no high.
He described my bill and my place just now. Now I asked him to give us a typical household that would fall in that.
Every house will be different.
You understand? What I did, my bill was double, almost triple the amount it is now. I'll tell you that. A divorce helped me.
Yeah. Well, I'm because I mean 84th, even
He just said divorce helped me.
Even if that estimate
reduce
is right,
my bill drastically.
Yeah, even if that estimate is right of 84,000 households, let's assume that's right, and you multiply that by 3 persons per household on average, you're looking at close to 250, 300,000 plus people
being affected.
Being affected.
Yes, you're right.
That's what I said.
That's not a small amount.
That's a practical, sober, technocrat approach, and then there's a political consideration.
Yeah. And the political consideration will trump everything right now.
Trump everything else.
Yeah. I wish him luck.
Well, what he's saying practically makes sense, but it's not always about hard numbers when you're making policy decisions at that level. Shall we open the phones?
It's open already. Lots of calls feeding through. Good morning.
Good morning again.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Right. Can I comment on what the gentleman just said?
You could do what you want.
Wendell, you just hear yourself?
I said you could do what you want.
Sometimes. So that's a suggestion you put out there.
What?
For divorce help you.
So if divorce helps you, why you can't say it?
Anyhow, I want to say
you want to try it? You want to try it and see how your bill go down?
It's not, darling. No, not at all. It works very good for me.
Really?
Like a baby bill.
That's not what Paul said.
Listen, I could understand quite well now what the gentleman said, and it's all about proper education towards what he said there. And as he said, the average household it wouldn't touch, but people want to have swimming pool, lights all around it, pump whole day. And well, Richard have a point about security in your home and all that. But if you could afford all that, you could afford to go towards the direction of solar, as the man said. We have to people have to be educated to understand. That is why he said people suffering so to get foreign exchange. They have lots of things in this country that they don't have to import. That I see groceries and so imported.
Where you went away 2 weeks ago for then? If everything you need right here, where you went away for?
Yeah.
Everything you need right here, what you went away for?
That is a loaded question. That is a loaded question. You better leave that right
Only
there.
you must go away and get. Everybody else must stay and use what here.
We must buy Rattan.
Only you must go Target and Zara.
Yeah.
Everybody just buy what here.
Here what you change up things now. We're talking about electricity.
But you just everybody what should use what here and do import, but you could go away and buy. But
again, I quite understood what the man said, and if I had to answer again, I would say yes, because here what we need is proper education, and as he said, it wouldn't touch the lower bracket. But then again, even those that would have to pay would make a noise.
You feel it wouldn't touch the lower bracket? Exactly. When the big shots had to pay more for electricity, they're raising the price in the stores. It's them on the stores.
Anyhow, that is a whole political
Everybody feel it insulated. It's not insulated like that. They had to pay more electricity. They raised the prices and everything they own.
Yep.
Don't get tied up. It's not cut and dry, black and white.
What the gentleman said. So if they educate the people enough to know when you have that, you go towards solar. Your bill will remain the same.
And he said not everyone has the capacity and the capital to install solar.
Anyhow, that That's what all it take from the papers, as the man said. They put it in their own way. That is to cause people to get vexed. So I quite understood what the man meant now.
All right.
And
Clarified for you. See, we have
and Zena, you might be very right that it was put there to irritate people. You might be very right.
Yes.
All right.
And the next time, let the mayor send his police to look at the area for parking for people when they're going in the oval. That they know that the people don't break the law and to charge people to park. And whoever the organization to put things in place, let people park in the savannah and have a shuttle to the venue. They won't
imagine it's a no-brainer.
And Tobago, and they not come.
Like we know that our match in the oval.
Thank you, Zena.
Oh, good.
All right. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Ms.
They should get a deal on the solar so people could start to use the solar.
But it wouldn't work for you. The bats will cover it. The bats will lie down and tools on it and thing and cover up all the sunlight and you wouldn't get no electricity.
Is it tools?
Did he just say tools?
And also, I find Trinidadians don't appreciate this. They take that switch on the wall for granted. It have some people don't know how to take off lights, 10 years now, I and a friend have been complaining about a basketball court in Roy Joseph's team in San Fernando. The light on 24/7. People welding the truck, the gate in the basketball court. That light don't come off at all. The police, you talk to the police, the council, nobody touches it. Go to HGC, go here, go there, and that light on 24/7 for 10 years as far as we were complaining. The light's still on up to today. Nobody cares. And it's sad that I will have to pay the cake when this nonsense starts. Just I tell the man, I say, get a gun and blow off the light.
No, Miss Sampson. No. You can't.
Nobody helping you.
Yeah, but it might be on because of the same gun thing in the area, that it on as a security measure for people in the area. That might be widely it being left on. You never know.
No, that's not the reason. It's just slackness. Nobody wants to take the time to put somebody to take it off or put it on a timer or something. People gambling there all night. The man can't sleep. The light bright. He can't sleep in the night. I tell him buy some shade curtain. It's an old man complaining for the longest while. So that is why the last thing I tell him to just do that. Sad to say.
But is it encouraging crime and criminality?
Well, the gambling, the smoking, people welding the truck, they're welding the garage gate inside of on that said current. It's a free for all. They need to either shut down the basketball court or move the light. You do what you have to do in daylight, and when night comes, nobody in there.
All right, Miss Sampson.
Thank you, Miss Sampson. Good morning. Oopsie. Good morning. Good morning.
You have energy as well, no?
Good. One more time. Good morning.
Sometimes I wonder where I get it from,
Morning.
Morning, call for competition.
You call for what?
For the song competition.
The song competition? What song you want to sing?
What song is singing?
It's a boom.
What song to sing?
Yeah, what song you want to sing?
Hey, morning. No, he's calling for this song. I think you'll have where you have to guess the song.
Yeah, that's on Boom 94.
Okay, sorry.
But wait, we can listen to it. We could audition him here, and then he can crawl Boom after. We can hear him sing here first.
Let me ask him if he wants to sing. You want to sing?
No. Let him sing, man.
Too shy.
Okay.
Too shy.
All right, have a good one.
All right.
All right, let's continue. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
A little torturing the young people in there. But gentlemen, you see how headlines misleading. You all did a whole poll this room in the morning on misleading information.
No.
I'm sure everybody who voted this morning now having the information that they have would probably change their vote based on what
we don't know if they fall into the 84,000 category.
Well, we don't know that, but I'm saying I'm sure a lot of them would fall into the percentage that this would not affect, right?
But Lincoln, the reality is it will affect everybody, you know.
Pardon me?
The reality is it will affect everybody, you know.
In what way?
I mean, in what way? But Paul just explained.
You mean when the business places raise their prices because of the new price?
Yes, it will. It will.
Well, yes, it will have a ripple effect. I guess it will. The possibility strongly exists that it will have a ripple effect one way or the other, right? But I appreciate you all calling the guy and getting clarity, because it was vexatious when I heard it this morning. Who is this man that really suggesting that they take subsidy of the electricity? Who is this person that said, what said when I hear was a foreigner? I was like, oh my God, I got a peeve this morning. But then when he explained the situation, I was like, oh, okay, I understand what he's saying now, and you know, it calmed me when he explained the situation. All right?
I don't know that tax driver.
Tax living.
Yeah, and tax might be a citizen, you know. I don't know if he's necessarily a foreigner.
That's living here a long time.
He's been here for ages.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, gentlemen. Thank you very much. That congratulations on the explanation. Yeah. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Lincoln.
All righty. 222-8255. Toll free North Americans. 866-525-1099. All right.
Special good morning to Nasser Mohammed.
Yeah. When is he matching in Brian Lara Stadium?
We have 3 matches coming up in Brian Lara Stadium. One, of course, is next week Tuesday, which is the public holiday. Hold on, let me get them for you.
Get it for you. I'll take this call by the time. Good morning.
You don't know that offhand, Wendell? Shame on you.
Boy,
I just want to clarify something. Ms. Sampson said that they should I forget how she put it exactly, but you make it easy for people to get solar, but I think it is already that way, that you don't pay taxes on it. And as I said again, it will ripple some, but education is the key. If people know and they explain to them by going solar and explain to them and offer them the incentives, their bill will remain the same according to demand. So it all boils down to proper education for the sector who it will affect.
Yeah. All right. I'm just letting you know, Wendell, that Dr. Driver has lived in Trinidad and Tobago for 28 years.
Yeah, he's been here a long time.
He's married to a lovely Trinidadian lady.
Yeah, we've interviewed him several times.
Oh, yeah, over the years. Always accessible.
Sunday, September 22nd, which is Sunday coming, TKR will play St. Kitts Nevis Patriots at 7 p.m. That's at the Brian Lara Stadium. Then on Tuesday, September 24th, which is the public holiday, TKR will play St. Lucia Kings at 10 a.m. Remember that the holiday game is 10 a.m. in the morning, hot sun. And then the following Friday, September 27th, TKR will play Barbados Royals 7 p.m. at the Brian Lara Stadium. So 3 matches again in
All right, so you can pick me up for the Friday game then. Pick me up, Wendell.
So Friday is the last game in Trinidad?
Yes, Friday is the last game. After that, they go to Guyana for 9 games. 9 or 11 games.
Okay.
Yeah. All the games
Sunday, Tuesday, and Friday.
Yeah, actually, they're playing in Guyana. They're playing in Guyana from today. Well, there are 4 matches in Guyana from today, but none of them involve TKR.
And when is the 10 o'clock match? The Friday?
The Tuesday. The
Republic Day, right. Okay.
Holiday. Yeah.
All right. So we'll take a couple of calls. We have a few minutes again. 222-8255. Toll free North Americans. 866-525-1099. All right. We'll take some of your calls.
Let me send this in the chat.
What is that? Oh, the
The
show
fixtures.
you.
The
Yeah,
fixtures. Yeah, that's it.
All right.
So lots of cricket coming up. Tomorrow on Saturday, matches playing in Guyana. There's also a 10 o'clock match tomorrow in Guyana.
Oh, okay. Let me just let folks know there is an accident to tell you about. It's on the Churchill Roosevelt Highway, westbound before Trin City. You have an accident there. All right. So that's going to create a little bit of traffic. On the Eastern Main Road, you have another accident, and it is by, where is that boy? Just past Cora before the bridge. All right, so that's where that accident is, on the Eastern Main Road.
I was endless people at Gary's funeral yesterday, boy.
Oh, you watched it?
No, I was there, you know. I didn't come into the church. I was just outside for a while, and then I was like,
okay.
Yeah.
So long.
No, it was such. It was such.
Spot.
It was such. Well, yeah, I parked my furniture plus. I
wasn't in the best parking spot. I was like, you know what? Let me just, you know.
It really was a nice send off for Gary. It really was. I saw Paul there, and then I went looking for him, and then I don't know.
Didn't get any parking at all.
He was walking out holding hands with another woman, so I thought it was Zena.
Yeah, that church is a little iffy for parking. What? Because last time I parked in that church, I went to a funeral in that church. I have to wait forever for people to come and move the cars for me to get out.
Oh, God, I get that. Yeah. But it really was a nice send-off for our colleague for many years here at Power 102 and Boom Inlet. Gary Maxim Leonard Camejo.
Yep.
All right. Let's grab this call. Oopsie. Good morning. Good morning.
Hey, morning, Mr. Paul Richard, Chief Captain. Wendell and Richard Ragoobarsingh.
Morning.
Morning, Mr. Patrick.
Wendell here was correct when you said divorce and future liability. I know. He was correct.
Mr. Patrick, you like Baccarat, you
I can see him tear that card now.
I know people have
Denzel, get out the house. Mona. It's Denzel and Mona.
I want to carry down my light bill.
You should ask you to take the Dover, Richard.
Hey, when they want to do the phone bill, they never use. I know people using light bill, even light on, fan on, TV on. I don't come in the house, nobody in the house.
I grew up with take off the light. You come in the room, take off the light.
Light on, phone, everything on, and nobody in the house. I don't like the press close every minute.
Oh, God,
I'll tell you, Mr. Patrick, I'll tell you where my biggest reduction came from, right? Believe it or not. And I'm not ashamed to say this, from my electric stove. Because nothing cooking in this house.
Every minute.
Nothing cooking
every minute, guy. I hear about a situation where a lady, if she take off her underwear and her bra and her dress, she throw it in that big washing machine, right?
You have people like that.
I was here that just recently there.
Yeah.
I said, well, people like they care, right? Let me tell you, I don't go away in the state. If that people don't switch off the current right today, right? Jamaica, I have Jamaican friends. When they come to say that event, they say, oh, leave on current and light on the way. I say, yeah. I say, yeah, boy. Children and woman, doesn't run up your bills, brother. I go with that.
I don't even know if my son AC does come off.
Oh, really?
I
do.
Morning.
You know what time I just quarrel
again?
Yeah, morning.
You know something? In my home, because I like to conserve everything, I do not really use dryer and so on, right? Once there's sun, I will wash. If it's raining, I don't wash. But, you know, because of my kind of work, I use an electric oven. You know, my light bill has actually reduced. So, I say at one point, before I started using the electric oven, it kind of went up to twice the amount. I went to complain. Here with the lady, but the lady said, you're looking face. They came at my home, changed the meter, and I've had that meter just a couple of years, because I had to change it. 2 years after, they say I have to change the meter. When I went back up, the lady would tell me, you're paying too much of a little bit of electricity. I said, but that's not my fault. No, I'm telling you, it went up from $425 to $890. I said, but that's not my fault. She said, well, that's your bill every 2 months. And strange enough, when I started using my electric stove about 3 months after, my bill is like $425, $450. So how that change came about? I'm happy, but how did that come about? So you see, I don't understand how they calculate this wattage, but I check my bill all the time. I try to leave as much, don't use as much current. But once my daughter alone is home, Wendell, would you believe? If I leave the house at 5 o'clock, by 5:30, she has on all the lights in the house, you know. She even out a light, you know. Every light in the house is on when she's at home alone. So I said, but you know, you're wasting current because you didn't have to have on all the lights, I alone home. So she was lighting the whole house. But I mean, that really kind of helping because I pay a little bit of electricity bill now, and I hope I don't have to go and complain because I'm not doing that again. I might get stuck.
Let me tell you when that changes. That changes when you put the electricity bill in her hand.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It changes instantly.
They like to use dryer.
That changes instantly when you say, okay, this is yours, bill to pay now.
Yeah, but then it's that time. Yeah.
You will see her walking on, putting enough light.
Sunday, so I'll be celebrating my big birthday.
You and Val on Sunday, what? We busy on Sunday.
Birthday.
We paranging house and house to house.
Huh. So you all have a wonderful weekend. I know I will indeed have a wonderful weekend.
Yes, please do.
Enjoy that, everything.
All the best to you.
Happy birthday in advance.
Alrighty.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, gentlemen, let's.
I put in smart switches. I put in motion things. I trying all out because around my house I have solar lights.
Okay.
Huh?
Smart switch in Arima? The smart city?
Yeah. Sin City, yeah.
You'll have a great weekend, we say.
Yes, it's the weekend. Of course, the weekend has begun, people. I'm just reminding you the theater will be on next week, Saturday and Sunday at Queen's Hall. That's extravagant news. What happens in the dark comes to the light. Premieres at Queen's Hall on Saturday at 8:30 p.m. on Saturday the 28th and Sunday the 29th of September. Saturday at 8:30, Sunday at 6:30. Tickets go on sale today from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at Queen's Hall. And of course, tickets will be on sale from tomorrow at all the usual outlets. Have a fantastic weekend, whatever you do. Remember to smile and laugh. It's great for your health.
All right, folks, have an absolutely wonderful weekend. Be careful on the nation's roads. Look out for the young ones and remember to let go and let God.
All right, gentlemen, do have a great weekend. And we will speak to you bright and early come Monday morning. Of course, our morning poll is on our mobile app and on our website. Vote on it so we can give the results come Monday morning as well. Let me just give you another traffic update, see what's happening. Let me just do a refresh on it. And it's going to give you a weather, but yeah. All right. So that accident is on Eastern Main Road. Is creating some serious traffic. It is as you head eastbound after Cora Road. All right. Is where you're going to get that traffic there. All right. Of course, traffic is quite heavy this morning. Still, it is Friday. And of course, that other accident is by the Trin City Lights. But after you pass Uwe, it's not too bad till you get to about Aranguez and you slow up a little bit and heavier from Barataria. All right. On the Solo Uriah Butler Highway, you're going to pick up some traffic just after Freeport to Sugargonas. After that is not too bad at all towards the interchange. Monroe Road is a heavy spot this morning. All right. And going up Lady Young Road, you've also got some traffic. So traffic has eased up quite considerably within the last time I told you about the last half an hour or so. All right. So we'll get into our 8 o'clock news brief. Of course, Evie is in Sir Charles. He's up next. And he'll take you through your mid-morning. So I was trying to get the weather forecast, but the TTMS updated their app, and I'm unable to open it. Yeah, I'm unable to open it. All right. So let's get into our 8 o'clock news brief. Evie is in.
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
It is time for your 8 o'clock update. I'm Afril Cintel Bob. Good morning. We did not call for the subsidy on electricity to be removed from all households. We called for the subsidy to be removed from the lower tiers and increased for the top tiers. This is according to Energy Chamber President Dax Driver, who spoke with the Power Breakfast Show this morning. There were reports in the media this morning that the Business Chamber called for the removal of the subsidy on electricity in the budget presentation on September 30th. Mr. Driver said 84,000 households are in the top tier, and they use the majority of the electricity. He said if you increase the subsidy in this tier, then there will be great responsibility to use energy-saving options. He said that those who use more electricity should be the ones to pay for the increased electricity usage. He said the 84,000 households use half or 50% of the electricity, and said the use of natural gas that's used in the top tier could be put to better use. He said that essentially a lot of electricity is being wasted. He noted that many persons who do not see the link between electricity and wastage and the economy need to. He emphasized this could be seen with the wastage of natural gas resources. The TTPS is monitoring criminals who may be targeting persons withdrawing cash to pay property tax. The deadline for property tax payments is fast approaching, and Assistant Superintendent of the Southwestern Division, Edmund Cumberbatch, has warned that criminals are now targeting individuals withdrawing large sums of money from banks to pay the tax. Cumberbatch has revealed, however, that the TTPS has put things in place to ensure the safety of customers. No permission has been granted for vehicles to park inside Nelson Mandela Park. That was the response from Port of Spain Mayor Chinwan Allen yesterday, following public outrage after the vehicles of several patrons attending the Caribbean Premier League match between the Guyana Amazon Warriors and Trinbago Knight Riders on Wednesday night were wrecked during the games. Videos were posted on social media showing vehicles being towed from Nelson Mandela Park while the match was in progress at the Queen's Park Oval. And a barrage of rockets has been fired from Lebanon into northern Israel, the Israeli military says, with alarms activated in areas in the north. It comes after Israel carried out extensive airstrikes on southern Lebanon, targeting positions of the Iranian-backed group Hezbollah. The military says its warplanes struck more than 100 rocket launchers as well as a weapons depot. Well, that was your news update to 8 o'clock. Look out for news in full at 12 noon.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
Legislation sets the tone for how we treat each other as a society. It provides those boundaries and the expectations, and it also upholds the rights of all of the citizens.
Legislation is important for everyone in society as it sets rules and regulations that create an organized, safe and fair environment in which everyone is equal.
They form the opinion that because you have a disability, that you are somehow unintelligent, stupid, ridiculously asinine, you name it. So legislation is quite important, and I hope that legislation is soon coming so that people with disabilities can be who they are. People first, disabilities after.